we call the Twilight.
Yo, what is good? What is good, everybody? Hope everybody's doing good today. Sunday fun day. Guys, we're in here on a little bit more, I guess, more mellowed out, serious tone today. Not your regular everyday shenanigans. But today is open mic night. Taking on whatever subject somebody wants to talk about, guys. Things you might want to bring up. Today is a day to actually get in touch with yourself, man. Let it out. Say it with your chest. Get it off your chest. That's what it's about, guys. You know what I mean? With that said, new segment. And with that said, guys, I want to bring my boy Ethan. Mr. Man hasn't been here in a bit. We all got our shit going on, but let's bring him in. My boy Easy E. Let's get it. Whoa!
What is good in the hood?
How we been, brother?
I can't say good, but I'm still above ground.
That right there is very, very important. People just don't know these days. They don't know, man.
People really don't know the struggle.
I know a lot of people say there's a struggle, and I think we say it really lightly when we say the struggle. But I think I went through my tests in life earlier on. I got kind of like an awakening in things, and just kind of learned to roll with punches, overcome things, obstacles. I think we all get tested in life. I do firmly believe that God's got to break you down to build you back up. We might not understand the things, but
maybe I'm in my resentment or my questioning phase of life right now. Maybe that's what it is. But man, they say people come up with that phrase. What does it say? God only gives to those who can take.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tired of taking. Just throwing that out there. I don't want to be a soldier. How about that? I don't want to be a soldier anymore. I just want to live life.
I know exactly what you mean. And I'm laughing not because what you're saying is because I understand where you're coming from.
Hey, I've turned into an open book this last 30 days. Because, like I said, I've always said before, I'm unapologetically me, and there's nothing nobody on the internet can say to me that I haven't said. Believe me, I haven't said 6 inches in front of a mirror at 2:00 in the morning. So, but in this last month, I found out a lot about myself. And because, I'll just, I'll put it out there because somebody says, I'm going through a separation right now with my wife. Me and my wife, after 22 years, we separated. Not really by my choice, but I understand. I understand why, to an extent. we'll just fucking dive. You want to dive into it?
We'll as open as you want to be.
Hey, we'll just go. I don't really care. Like I said,
it's a no judgment thing. This can happen to anybody.
Oh, you can judge. You can judge. You can judge, and you can, because that's part of life.
Sometimes we all feel like we're in that unsinkable ship, not realizing we're that huge ship is the Titanic that we're floating on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it didn't take anything bigger than the Titanic to sink it. There's a lot of things that play in a relationship. There's a lot of give and take. There's things just working behind the scenes. We don't think as a couple, we're not synchronized in the same mind. We don't know what's going on up here. You know what I mean?
And for my situation, I want to toss out there too. I'm a month sober. So I wasn't okay. Most alcoholics say they weren't alcoholic, and I wasn't an alcoholic, but it was an issue that triggered my wife. I didn't know that was triggering my wife from some of her past trauma. And so, me getting home and, I jump on the podcast and I have a drink, or, I after dinner, sit there, have a drink, watch some TV. I didn't know that was bothering her. So I found out it was bothering her, and I was like, well, cool. Well, I'm just done. Dumped out the alcohol in the house, and I'm good. It was something that wasn't hard to kick her. I don't miss it. It is what it is.
And the thing is, these aren't even, I wouldn't call issues, but they're the little things. They're the little things that if you're somebody in a relationship and you have a problem with something, it's as easy as just have a seat for a minute and say, hey, you know what? This has been kind of bothering me for a minute. But when you bottle everything up and wait for all that bottling of everything you do, and like I said, I don't want to make it seem like I'm attacking anyone here, but the thing is, you can't bottle it. You can't bottle that up. Fill your bottle, and then one day you just go over and pour it on your boy. You can't do that.
See, and in my wife's defense and not defense, she the quick synopsis of how I got here was, up until 2020 when my mom died, we were kids focused on kids, making sure the kids were, my oldest is 20 now, so she was only 15, and the youngest was like 9. So we were kids, focused on kids. We didn't have a ton of money, but we did okay. The kids didn't have any wants or needs, but we let us, me and her, our togetherness sacrifice. And then you fast forward to 2020, my mom dies, which was, for me, was the second most tragic event in my life. And I can firmly say that now as an adult. The first tragic event, I can firmly say this with all my heart, is splitting up with my wife. As much as I love my mom was my hero. My mom was my everything, but I didn't choose my mom. My mom, it was me and my wife chose each other. So it's just different in my eyes. So, my mom died, and then, it was hard. I didn't know how to process it. I grew up in a family where we didn't talk.
We taught as
yeah.
Men,
oh yeah.
We're as men, we're taught a lot to, if we fall and scrape our knee, just, bottle it up, just kind of suck it up.
Yep.
And
my dad, if you cry, you're a pussy. If you need therapy, you're fucking broken.
Yeah.
Like, so that was my grow up. Even with my sisters, dude. Like, even with my sisters, like, I'm the youngest. My sisters, I grew up with 3 of the most hellacious sisters you ever imagine. And when I say these stories that I tell you guys, from time to time when I get on here of, my dad burnt our house down. That's true. Drive-bys at our house, that's true. My older siblings beating me up and making me panhandle for money, and then I'm taking the money. That is all true. And so I learned to like take a lot. And then, my mom died, and then it just got bad, and I didn't know how to cope with it. And I actually discovered alcohol because before my mom died, I would drink maybe once a year.
Mm-hmm.
When my buddy came down from New Mexico or Texas, I would drink maybe once a year. When my mom died, hey, I like that it doesn't make me think of anything. And then, I fast forward a year and a half later, my brother is murdered on Christmas Eve. Mind you, and we lived through a pandemic.
Yeah, that's another thing.
And then my brother's murdered on Christmas Eve. Get a phone call at 2 a.m. that he was killed. So then we go through that. We go through a murder trial. 2 murder trials, because the first trial was a mistrial. So we go through 2 murder trials.
Wow.
Fast forward then another year and a half later, my dad dies. And in the middle of my dad dying too, I don't have a ton of friends that I call like best friends.
Mm-hmm.
One of my best friends on the planet is in prison right now on trial for double murder. So, I was conflicted about, do I reach out? Do I just let it be? So after the trial, what do I do? And then at the same time, a month later, my dad dies. And man, I'm just fucking lost at this point. But in that being lost, I'm getting up every day. I'm going to work. I'm making sure the bills are paid. I'm making sure all the monetary wants and needs are taken care of. And in my head, I'm like, hey, I'm still doing it. I'm still providing, still being a husband, still thinking I'm doing okay. I didn't think I was doing a great job, but think I'm doing okay.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of people that go through less. There's people that go through less in life, and they will let their household fall apart. They lose everything in a situation where, let's say you would have gone into a depression where you don't want to go to work. You can't hold up. As a man, we can't hold up our end and maintain.
I'll put this out there because I'm unashamed. After my brother was murdered and just going through everything I was going through, I went through a phase where I didn't want to live.
And I get that.
And I had to wake up in the middle of the night to find a reason to live. And I thank God every day for the 3 girls that live in my house. Well, 2 now, but it's the 3 that lived in my house. Because I that was the disappointment of all disappointments I couldn't do.
It's tough. It's fucking tough. I can't even imagine how tough. But the thing is, she's not here to defend herself. But I'll say this: she has to be thankful. And I would have to look at a person like that, like Superman in my eyes, to say, this man has been chopped to his knees, to the waist, and he's still finding the strength to go on. He's finding the strength to provide. He's finding the strength to not take a life. He's finding the strength to keep us afloat. It takes a lot. There's people there's people that have a boyfriend for a year, break up, and it's the end of the world. You know what I mean? I've said this story before. My kids have heard me talk about this, where we were at a kickback, and a guy broke up with this girl, and he comes into the yard, and we're having this little get-together party, and tells her, "Oh, if you break up, if you don't get back with me, I'll kill myself." And we hear people say that a lot. They throw that out. Oh my God, I'm gonna die if you don't. And the dude really blew his fucking brains out right there in the middle of the party. Or like observing that and observing your situation and others I've seen before, like women should be thankful for men like you that can hold it together, because that takes an immense amount of strength, an immense amount of mental power to not give in.
but and see, that's where I can step back because the day she left, I started doing therapy, and I've hit therapy head on, and I can take a step back and tell her literally, like, if she was here right now, which I'm gonna send her. I send her every video I make, and I'll send her this one, and I can sit here with a straight face and an honest heart and tell her I'll tell her thank you, because she did help keep me afloat. It's not something that was never unappreciated, but it was something that if a female could, she understands as much as she thinks she can understand in her heart, but it's just not the same when you live it. When you have those voices in your head that are plotting your destruction, it's entirely different. So I don't discredit her keeping me afloat and anything like that, and the strength that it took her to keep me afloat. But at the same time, like, she left, and like I said, I stopped drinking. I hit therapy head on. I talked to therapists almost daily. I'm trying to learn how to communicate in a way that I never knew how as a 43-year-old man, and trying to better myself, because at the end of the day, this is not just about me. It's about my kids. It's about our home. It's about the last 22 years of my life. And for me, the reason that's why I started doing these little videos I just started posting, is because I know there's a ton of dudes out there right now that, and I'm not saying this to brag, but I've learned a lot about myself. And I know there's a lot of guys out there, I think, that aren't as strong as, or is not as strong as I am.
And you're right. And you're damn right. And you know what? I've seen some of the comments on the videos, and there's one guy that was like, dude, I don't even remember why I subscribed to you, but he was like, but I'm glad,
Dude, that was such a heartfelt comment, man.
That took me back. I was like, holy shit. Okay. This, and here's another one. Here's Jim. Look, here's Jim's comment. He says, I can relate, Ethan. I lost two closest people to me in my life within 2 years. And then a year later, my girl and I split up after 17 years. My kids keep me going. I wish you the best, brother. So you're not alone. I think that almost everybody has been on this. We've all lost somebody. Not in the same orders, but we've all lost loved ones. We've all lost relationships of some type. But it just feels different within a certain span of time and what place in life you're in.
It's quicksand.
And I am bothered. I am upset because I watched some of the videos. Not some, all of them, but some of the videos. I've been sitting there like with my wife, and we were watching one last night, and like I really had to hold back from just grabbing the phone at like 3 a.m. and calling you to just tell you something, man, because it really bothered me. And it's tough. I know how tough it is on you, man. I really do know how it is. And I think for the type of person you are, maybe it's because you love her, but you're giving her a lot of the benefit of the doubt on certain parts of it.
I always have. Always have.
And of course, me and my wife have never had an argument where it's a certain situation where we're going to split up or anything like that. But God forbid, because I'm the type of person that no matter how, and my wife, I think she knows this. As much as I love her, as much as I love anybody, I'm a person that can really coldly cut people off, and I really don't try to understand their side.
So that's her. That's her.
Yeah, and I don't try to understand their situation. I don't try to, but the thing is, they have to wrong me. They have to wrong me. I don't think you wronged anybody here.
I never, there was and that's the thing I try to explain to her. There was never intent to harm, to do unjust. The intent was always positive. So, but with my wife, her defense mechanism, because my wife's an only child, she never knew her dad. She doesn't even have a name to know her dad. Her mom's relationship,
what's up, Platinum,
is very tumultuous. And so what my wife's mechanism is, when she gets hurt, she walls up. It's just a wall. And that's her wall up and then move on. That's her defense mechanism. And like I try to explain to her, and I've explained to her, and I'm giving her my perspective of what I'm living right now. So she moved out. She chose to move out. I told her I would leave because I was like, I don't want my children affected any more than they're already affected, Mm-hmm. But she chose to leave, and she rented a room in a different apartment complex on the other side of the street from somebody. And I explained to her, I'm like, right now she's living in a place where there's not really any, in my opinion, and she's living in a place where it's quiet. There's no pressure. There's no living in reality.
Yeah. So
because,
but let me just drop another pile of crap on you.
And see, and this is the thing that I don't think she understands is
that's what has me upset about your situation.
I'm struggling emotionally, physically, financially, because my partner left and so she's living over there, and the sense of responsibility is very low because she knows her children are always going to be taken care of. I'm not gonna do anything to sacrifice their livelihood, their home, or anything. So that's a luxury she carries. And that's where the distinction I'm trying to, and she doesn't see it that way. And I'm like, no, because I asked her this role reversal. Just let's flat out role reverse this. Because she sent me a text message while I was at work and told me she was leaving. So that's how she left.
Wow.
So I told her role reversal. Let's just do this. Let's do this. I leave you. I send you a text message at work saying I'm leaving. I rent another room, and I leave you to hold the bag. Physically, emotionally, financially, everything is burdened on you.
And that's the part I don't get, because on the videos where you talked about it, like somebody says, I don't like the way you don't have love for yourself or not treating yourself in a certain way, because I don't like how that's going on. This is why I'm taking my way in my peace. So let me just add a little more to your stress and self-destruction. I don't understand where that, you know what I mean? That doesn't. And
I think that's part of where maybe her hurt comes in. And, wherever that comes in. But I've sat her down and explained to her, I'm like, look, this is as much about me as it is about your family. Like, for me, like, I make enough. California is expensive, man. I was like, so I can keep the bills up. I can I can pay the rent. I can make all the bills. But at the end of the month, it's tight. So if I get car trouble or if something else happens, I'm fucked. And so me explaining that and just telling her, I'm like, look, let's just get past the financial part of it. It's just 22 years of my life. I've loved you since I was a kid. You're woven into my DNA. You're woven into the existence of who I am. That's not going to go away. So the last couple of days I've explained to her, I found a lot through therapy, and I wholeheartedly apologize if I ever criticized anybody about therapy in my lifetime, but I wholeheartedly apologize because therapy helped me figure out that I'm not a bad individual. I'm a good person. I'm actually a great fucking person. I'm a great person with a big ass heart and a lot of good intentions.
We've said that a lot. E.
And but I was never. I didn't grow up. I grew up in a facet where nobody really had time for me. I was never included. I'm not giving a sob story. It's just what it was. And so, like I explained to her, I was like, "Look, I'm a good fucking person. You're not stupid. So I'm explaining to you like this. I'm not going to give up. If I have to be Steve Urkel to your Laura Winslow, and I can't get you to go to dinner with me, I'm going to bring dinner to you.
Wow. If
I can't get you to do X, Y, Z, I'm going to bring it to you. Because you know what? At the end of the day, what do I got left to lose?
I'll tell you this, E, and I don't want to discourage you, but I got to be real with you too. You can only do so much. You've been with this woman over 20 years. You had a family with her. It's okay to try to mend things. It's okay to put your effort in, because you don't want it thrown in your face to say you didn't do a damn thing to salvage, recover. But you gotta also know, in between that time, you need a healing time in between there. Healing has to start somewhere in there, and there has to be a cutoff point. You know what I mean? You can't be.
I'm not willing. I'm not willing to give the cutoff, because here's the thing. Knowing that girl since she was 17, since she was 17 years old, the countless times and nights I promised that I would take care of her, I would be there for her. I'm not gonna not. That's just me. That's just not gonna happen. For me, it's one of those things. Is she's my best friend. I'm not unashamed to say that. She's my best friend. And when your best friend's making a stupid decision, I'm telling her she's making a stupid decision. She's making a stupid choice, and I'm gonna be there when she's figured out she's made a stupid choice, because at the end of the day, she's not only affecting herself, she's affecting me. She's affecting her children. She needs to set an example for her 20-year-old daughter, her 14-year-old daughter, and herself.
So let me
because go ahead.
You want to give her the benefit of the doubt. She's your best friend. You're never going to quit on her. You made a promise to take care of her. You always will be. Those are all things that you never have to stop doing. You don't. But what are you going to do for your happiness? Because
I'm not going to quit.
I'm not saying you quit.
No. But the thing is, there's when the happiness is with somebody, is taking care of somebody, is seeing them smile, and when they smile, their eyes disappear. You get that fulfillment. That fulfillment that I can keep as an adult, because as a child, man, I had promise after promise after promise broke. So for me, it's more than just, if I fail me, her. In my eyes, I fail my children. I fail at everything. So for me is, I'll be happy when my family can be whole, because there's not many things that I'm confidently know that I was put here for in this world. But the one thing that I know I was put here for was to take care of my family. You know, like my dad couldn't say that. My dad was in that shit for himself, you know? And as much as I love my dad, I never want to feel like my dad. And I feel like if I fail, I'm going to be my dad.
No, you don't feel like that, because we all have faults. We're allowed to fail. We're allowed to fail, and you know, it's about how we get back up, and it's about redemption. You know, so don't feel like that. You know, my parents, they were together for over 20 something years. I want to say at least 25 years. Okay. Things got bad. It was a situation they could not fix. My dad, very much like you, stayed behind. He paid the bills. He paid the rent. He worked. He had to finish raising 4 boys on his own, doing all that. And he like, even now, he says he loves my mom to death. Okay. But he always tried to hang on to that situation. He tried to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It took many years. My dad stuck around many years until, you know, he finally found somebody for himself. He's doing his thing. He still never retracted. He was always there for us. He was always there. He put in the time. We saw him. I saw him mainly because I worked with him. I saw him almost every day of the week. Every day of the week. My dad lived with us, and until they came to another agreement, and he, you know, but he never quit on her. He never quit on us. But in order for him to be happy, and this was important because we had our talks together, and I told him, what's important is, dude, is for you to be happy. You need to find that happiness somewhere else, because you're going to keep being miserable trying to have something you can't go back to. As long as, if there's an opening for that, cool, go for it. But if somebody keeps giving you their shoulder, keeps giving you their back to you, and maybe this is just my opinion, my thought process, I'm not going to keep forcing it, or, you know what I mean? For the other person, I might do everything in the world for them, but I'm not going to wait there my whole life. Happiness might be somewhere else. And as bad as it sounds, like I said, I'm a guy of faith. God will always close doors. As much as you hate to hear the slam of that door and the way that door feels, you might miss it because you're too worried about knocking on the door that's closed, and you're not looking at the door he opened up behind you. So always keep that in mind. I think that's really important.
I just think that's where my bitterness or my resentment comes in right now, is like, dude, just leave my fucking doors alone. Go to the next guy. Like, I didn't ask for help.
I know.
I didn't ask for nothing. You know what I mean? So it's like, fuck, man. Like, can I stop being the punching bag for a while?
And I get where you're coming from with that, but you got to remember, in this case, we have to keep remembering why the door closed, or who closed the door on you. He might have not closed the door on you, but he might have the door open for you. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's all I'm saying is, I don't want to see.
Yeah, no, I've literally analyzed this from every angle from Sunday, and I come back to the same thing.
Platinum says, I've been there wanting to unalive myself, bro. If you still go that running in your head, get it out, because you got to consider how kids are going to feel.
I at one point I had that running through my head very, 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 very badly, and I can say that that demon, that other person I killed, that person that's trying to take me down, because I have a family. I have a family to fight for. And, you know, the thing with my wife is there's so much, but it's like, you know, with her, I just, like I said, I know her. I can look at her face and see like she still loves me, but she's trying to be mad at me. She's trying to be mad at me, but I know her like the back of my hand, just like I know every fucking freckle on her body. Like, the thing is with her, she's lacking the real world perception of what's going on right now, because she's living in, like I said, she's living in a false sense of reality, a false sense of security, because she doesn't even just financially, just for, you know, everything, she wouldn't be able to touch a studio apartment in California.
I almost wish and feel like you would have come home and she would have said, you know what? I need a timeout real quick.
Yeah.
That's what I feel would have been better. It almost feels like the reason for the text was because deep down she knows that if she would have had to say this to you face to face, you would have had to talk, and there would have been some kind of reason found in that talk, some actual, you know, rational.
See, and that's her. Up until maybe a week ago, that's her is trying to avoid the actual talking, like the actual, because she doesn't have an actual reason to hate me. I think she's upset at herself because she feels like she couldn't do enough to prop me up, because the voices in my head I told her the voices in my head were louder than you. I'm sorry, but you don't understand. The thing is, the female perspective will never understand a male's brain. It's just not going to happen. I don't care how sympathetic you are. It's not going to happen. You know, and the humility of me having to tell her, I'm like, you don't understand what it's like to sit at the edge of the bed and search for a reason to live. Until you do, you don't know. Bro, Platinum, 100%, bro. Like,
ask Randy Orton. Yeah.
You know, so for me, I got kids I'm not going to let down. I got myself I'm not going to let down. Because, God damn it, it'd be the biggest mistake she ever makes.
Just do life, be life. And like the old saying goes, let it go. And if it's yours, it's going to come back, buddy. And, you know, unfortunately, emotionally, we can't force people to feel different or do different. I just hope that as many years that you guys have had together, that in the end will be the thing that pull you back. You know,
see, and that's like I told her, I'm like, look, 22 years, and I was like, and I mean this, and I don't mean this in a mean way, But 22 years and everything I've done for you, just like you've done for me, I'm not discrediting what you do. But everything I've done for you, if you can look at me and say I don't deserve one shot of redemption, then you're on fucking drugs. You're absolutely batshit crazy. Because that's not just a shot for me. That's a shot for your kids, family to be whole. For you to set an example to your 20-year-old daughter about relationships and how you don't quit. For you to set an example to your 14-year-old daughter about how strong you can be. You know, so it's like it's been a month. Been a month.
It's crazy. It's crazy, and I'm glad that you're able to open up about it, talk about it here, opening up about it on your channel. I commend you for that.
I didn't think I had it in me, honestly. I was just.
It surprised the shit out of me when I saw the video. I said, "Oh damn!"
It's because it's the quiet, it's the alone times when it's like real bad.
Yeah,
because I'm not an alone person. I'm just not. And it's the alone is like right now the house is empty. So it's like,
God, please don't leave me alone in my house.
Dude, I don't wish it on anybody. I lived in a house of chaos. I grew up in a house of chaos, and then I've had a family for my adult life, and I can't do alone. Dude, feel free to comment and ask questions. I like I said, I didn't realize I could. It's turned kind of therapeutic for me.
It was good therapy. It is good therapy. It's one of the healthiest things you could have done, honestly. And I applaud you and I commend you, man. It takes a lot of balls, a big heart. There's a lot of guys that will see this and critique this, but honestly, some of you fuckers, and even after you see this, even for you fuckers that don't like either me or him or anybody else that's been on the show, especially you fuckers, you have gone through the shit that Ethan or other people have gone through. You guys don't have the nuts that it takes to do what this man has done, and be there publicly for either your positive or negative critiques. It takes a lot out of a person to do that. I know I can't say I would do it, and I can't say I wouldn't do it, but I know it'd be tough as hell for me to try it.
You know what part of what triggered me doing it was, obviously, the belt hobby's toxic, and there's going to be the guys that take this and they'll be like, he's got what he deserved. His wife left him because he's a dick or he's whatever. That's fine. But again, I don't worry about those people because they're not going to say anything more unkind than I've ever lived through. 1, 2, they'll never say it to my face. So if you're going to be that insignificant about it, that's fine. When I started this, it was because I'm sitting there alone, and I start thinking, I'm like, I'm alone and it fucking sucks. Thank you, Joey. I'm alone and it fucking sucks, but I have kids that love me more than life itself. And there's dudes out there right now that don't have anybody. 0 people to turn to. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw myself out there.
Which you didn't have to either.
But
that's the thing.
I just felt compelled to. But because I don't want anybody to feel the way I felt or feel. And I just know there's other people that are alone. That's the thing is, man, I know there's so many people that are alone with nobody. Like nobody. I mean, I've had people reach out to me on TikTok. Bro, I had girls send me their phone numbers, dude. Wild. I'm just saying.
Dude, I'm trying not to grin. I'm trying not to do it, but oh man. I'll tell you what.
I don't know if it's the vulnerability in what I'm doing or what, but I mean what I can sit here right now and mean what I say, that I love my wife more than life itself.
I'm still gritting it.
Dude, I got like 4 phone numbers on TikTok, bro.
Shit, dude. And here's the thing, though. I wish you the best. Sometimes God's calling on certain things is hard to face, but this could be your calling with your experience to help other people.
See, and this is what I want to do, because I love doing podcasts, man. I love talking. I love talking this from camera. You know, I love interacting with you guys. I love, speaking and right. And he probably can eat. I'm just saying. But I love talking to the camera. I love connecting with people, and if I can help somebody, dude, like the comment we were talking about earlier, dude, that comment meant the world to me.
There's other comments too.
Yeah.
But that one really stuck out because I was like, wow, somebody really needed to hear this. There's a lot of people that think that they have a lot of bad shit going on in their life, and then they tune into something like that, and maybe it'll help them say, hey, you know what, maybe it's not that bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh God.
No, actually, I mean, bro, like, I'm just saying, like, one of them was like 19, bro. I was like,
hey, Joey, I'll tell you what, though. I ain't mad at no gummies. I wouldn't be mad at no gummy. Say that right now.
No, but you forget how many actually broken people there are. You forget how many women are out there that like had an actual bad husband where they pissed their money away, they beat them, they didn't take care of their kids, they didn't do any of the things that I'm pining to do and longing to do. I just was rough on myself because I couldn't handle people dying. Down you, bro. Make a TikTok.
But that's a good point, though. There's a lot of women out there that will see that and say, hey, this is the reason why we can't find a lot of real good men anymore, because a lot of them are getting hurt. I wouldn't blame a lot of them for jumping in your inbox. You know what I mean? I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's just it's wild, but I'll hold off. I'm not that desperate yet, but I'll let you know, bro. But that's the thing, is like, I can see here you kind of laugh about it and everything like that, but like I told my wife, I was like, I text her every morning, good morning. I text her every night, good night. I told her, I was like, I'm gonna be me, regardless if you like it or not.
Practice, quiet. I'm glad
tomorrow's fucking Monday.
Yeah, we have vacations this whole week, so I will be busting ass on leather. Like, every time I get a few days off, I try to push hard on that, and this week will be no different. I've got to get at least 10 bouts out of here. And
that's wild.
Shit, yeah, I will be punching. We have a new viewer here, Tony Luciano. How's it going, brother? He says, this popped up on my feed. Honest question. Do you think this is going to make things better or worse?
In what context? This show?
I that's what I was going to ask. In what kind of context? Either, is it going to make things better being vocal about it, open publicly?
Well, what's worse than leaving? She's already gone. So I don't know if it can get worse.
I mean, you can only go up from here.
Oh no, I send her every YouTube video. I'll send her this video. There's no need to hide. I'm not lying. There's nothing I'm lying about. You know? I didn't choose this
channel. Shame on her. She should be.
I didn't choose this. It was dumped on my lap. Just like everything was. It was dumped on my lap.
Yeah. And okay, Tony Luciano says, I mean, if you want to try and get your girl back, what is this going to accomplish?
It accomplishes a lot because this would have never happened 6 months ago. This me talking, this me being as candid as I am, this me learning how to articulate how to get my feelings out instead of bottling them up. This would have never happened.
I vouch for that.
This would have been me drinking. I would have been drunk or drinking to get drunk on the show. And we've been laughing and joking, having a good time. Not yet, but if I need the money, bro, I'll hit you up.
Jesus Christ. Talk about an opportunist.
Right?
Pick the man while he's down. Jesus Christ. Joey's vicious with that one.
So that's where it is. Part of it was because I bottleneck things and I don't articulate them very well emotionally. So this is the best way I can learn how to do it.
And you'll get better at it. And you're going to get better at it. This is a new chapter in your life, and
Yeah.
Tony says,
No. You're good, bro. I'm not sweating it. Like, just if you feel free to ask away. Like I said, I didn't
like he said, he's an open book at this point, and this is public, and it's expected. It's expected. It's as expected as putting a Reggie Parks belt on a post and expecting people to question it and confuse it.
Right. I thought it was a shop belt.
I did too. I had never seen that tooling or cut on a red logo.
Or that clean etching where it looked machine molded.
I and at the distance,
I've never seen the signature that off on the.
I never. Thank you for pointing that out. I haven't told anybody, but yeah, I just touching on that real quick.
That signature is way off.
Yeah, I became a moderator to a group, and he had a problem with people commenting on that too. And I did for him what supposedly another admin didn't do for him, and I tried to give him a phone call and all that, and it didn't work out for him. Steven, have a shout out, brother. He says most men bottle it up and not talk about it, leading to bad situations. Even talking about it, being a positive influence to all to open up, and that's what it's about.
Yep, I'm not ashamed to say I love and need my family. I'm not ashamed of any of that. It is what it is. I'm the man I am because of my family. Let's be real about that. I'm the person and provider that I am because of my family, because of my daughters. So the way I look at this is it's a bump in the road, and she is seen because she's told me she's seen a drastic change in me. And she's seen and she's gonna understand her mistakes, and we'll move on and rebuild from there. But for me, is I have to battle through her natural mechanism, like I said, of just putting that wall up.
Yeah.
And when I mean she puts it up, bro,
Quicker than
she had issues with her mom. She hasn't talked to her mom in 7 years.
Wow.
Check this out. Her mom sent her a Christmas gift about 2 years ago as a peace offering. She took it outside and chopped it up with an axe and then sent it back.
Oh shit.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm battling. So people understand that that's what I'm battling.
She also needs help with that too.
I've stated that too, and it's hard to tell that to somebody without them getting defensive. I chose to do it head on because I did understand I don't know everything, and I do understand that I needed another perspective on what I'm doing and how I'm doing it.
And she needs to do it quick because mom and dad aren't here forever. I've known people like that, two of which they didn't see their parents until the casket was closed, and reality didn't hit them until that casket started going down, and they threw themselves at the box. So definitely,
And I've had those talks with her, and I'm like, because she was there with my mom and dad and everybody, and like I said, I'm forever grateful that she was there for me in those dark times. But prospectively for her, it's different to lose a mother-in-law than a mother. It's different to lose a father-in-law than a father. It's different to lose a brother-in-law than a brother. I'm not undermining what she went through with me, but it's just different. I'm like, and I hate for you to get to that point in your life where you can't have that conversation. I was like, you guys don't have to go to breakfast every morning, but maybe there's some kind of adult solution.
Yeah, I know somebody that took me a long time to kind of like everybody, I'm gonna say this. Sometimes it can't be everybody. If it's everybody, sometimes we need to look at ourselves.
This is true.
You might be the problem if it's like that. But this guy, they had a huge breakup in the family. Took on a whole huge grudge with his dad, and never wanted to speak to him again. But I don't want to say I drove, but I definitely was there like every other day or every week, mentioning something about how he needs to like speak to people. You know what I mean? Because other people get affected by it. Let me ask this. Your kids, do they see grandma even though she's upset with her mom? Do your kids see grandma?
No.
That right there is the problem.
So her mom has her own issues. Some of them are chemical dependent.
Okay.
And I understand why my wife didn't want. They had a relationship when they were younger, a lot younger, but my wife's mom did have a chemical dependency where she abruptly moved from California to Louisiana. And so that's where she is. But there's never any trading of pictures. There's never any attempt. There's never anything to have some sort of just amicable relationship. Like, it's just dead, done, gone.
Yeah, that's tough. Myrna says, Ethan, I truly hope everything falls.
I appreciate it.
You admire what you're doing.
I appreciate it.
And what's up to everybody at Facebook that's watching? I'm just waiting for comments, guys. I am here just so you guys know if you're watching. I do see some viewers. Feel free to comment, guys. It doesn't come up on the YouTube feed here, but I can answer for you. We all go through our stuff, man, honestly. And
like Anna said, regardless of what happens, I'm going to be better for it. But
I think you're productive with it. I think you're being very positive and productive about it, and I think you're going about it in the right direction. I commend you on that. I'm very proud of you. Proud of my boy for that.
appreciate it.
Shit, it's tough. I know it is. It's very tough. No, that for sure.
Yeah, because I'm proud of myself because 6 months ago I would have just fucking rolled over and died. I would have. I honestly, I probably wouldn't be here. But I got way too much at stake. And like I explained to my wife, I was like, you need to understand something too. We've weeded through the bad. We got through the bad. I don't have too many more people around me that's gonna die. So I was like, we've weeded through the bad, and I was like, I just I wanna be able to enjoy some good for once. I want to be able to go on vacation. Just us. I want to be able to do those things and, start chapter fucking 6 of our life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I'm just upset at her because she ruined WrestleMania for me. For us.
Dude, that was my bucket list.
I just wanted to know that she doing that for me.
She'll see this video and I'll relay the message.
I hope you're happy.
Yeah. So, that's where I'm at, and like I said, if anybody doesn't want to comment and wants to just reach out. It's no problem. Inbox is always open. I just, right now, no.
Too early.
Yeah, no. That thought hasn't crossed my mind because I know what kind of mistake she's making. Just, again, this is something I could never say about myself 6 months ago. I know what kind of mistake she's making. I know what kind of person I am. I know what kind of provider I am. I know what kind of dad I am. And I know what kind of husband I am. I'll let her fumble and make her little mistake right now. But at the end of the day, it's my job to love, honor, and protect like I did when we got married. Like when we said them I do's.
It's till death do us part through sickness and in health.
Yep.
That's
for
right.
For better or worse.
For better or worse.
I know you're watching.
Can't take those lightly at all, man. Can't take those lightly at all. Guys, just a quick reminder. And guys, today is open mic night. Sundays, we'll have it Tuesdays, we'll have it Wednesdays, any day of the week we feel like it because it's what we feel. It's what we do. Because
it's an improv.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, shows are on Saturdays, and we talk about just about anything from wrestling, belts, conspiracies, which, by the way, are getting good because now we literally have found out that the pyramids are just literally the tip of the iceberg because they have found structures underneath, huge 1 mile deep structures under the pyramid that lead to other rooms.
Oh shit.
These pillars are huge. If you haven't heard about it,
I have not.
Bro, they announced it on the news. It was world media. It was announced. It is crazy. Now I'm starting to think that thing was a rocket ship because those cylinders look like firing fuel tanks to me. No lie. And there's
See, but is it is the truth ever really going to be validated? Because here's why. Here's why I'm not. I would love for the truth to be validated like that or something like that, but you have to take. That's funny. I hope so too. No, we will. You know what? I'm gonna remain positive and optimistic, and we will. Otherwise, I got some girls on TikTok.
Guys, that's the new game for 2025. Tell you that right now. Open up.
So, anyways, why I know this could never be validated is because if you look at it as a whole, take society as a whole, right? We validate that those fucking pyramids or rocket ships or something like that, right? What does that do to Christianity? What does that do to the Bible?
Yes.
So you're going to have worldwide chaos of all these people that have lived these good lives according to the Bible and everything like that. And you're going to fundamentally crush their faith in a validation that's probably true. But so I don't see it ever being anything more than a conspiracy.
And also the files of the assassination of Martin Luther King. And
I'm a little behind it because I've seen the JFK ones came out too.
Yeah, and the JFK came out also. A lot of things are starting to come to light, and I guess Trump wants to hear that truth as much as everybody else wants to, and I'm on board with that. But we have pyramids, we have that. Rest in peace, George Foreman.
George, I know.
Rest in peace. He is most famous for the George Foreman grill. And,
you know, did you hear the ending about the Gene Hackman thing?
Oh, crazy!
How wild is that? That he had Alzheimer's. I guess they said he had like really bad Alzheimer's. So his wife was dead a week and he didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
fucking wild.
His wife was sick. He was sick. The dog was sick. Dog had just had surgery. Needed meds. The wife needed meds. She did not get it. She died from a disease you get from rodents in your home. And then Gene, well, nobody took care of him either, and he was gone. Isn't that crazy?
That's fucking wild. You know, that grill and the set it and forget it, man, those are the two most iconic things, you know.
Set it and forget it. That was awesome. But without making light of it, George Foreman, man, I just maybe a few months ago watched with my wife the story on George Foreman, that movie, and how he was pretty much a thug, just beating up dudes on the street for pocket change and and how he changed his life around, man. That is an inspirational life and story, George Foreman, man. May he rest in power, man. Honestly,
right? Wholeheartedly agree.
Well, guys, we are at the end of this ride. Open mic nights, guys. That's something we'll be having, and hope you guys enjoy it. No questions are crazy here. No answers are crazy. I don't edit. I don't silence any.
You know, this is a safe space.
This is a safe space.
This is a safe space for people to come out. You know what? Because we all got fucked up shit happening. So
you need to let it out. Cuss me out. Cuss something out on the show. You guys need to just let something out. It's fine. There's no boundaries here, other than you being maybe a racist. Other than that, everything pretty much goes, guys. You know, so open mic nights when you see it, guys. Come on here. If you want to come on board, we can send you a link. come on, get something off your chest. Let's talk about it. Take some questions on it. Answer. You know what I mean? It helps everybody. Jim says, "Did you see the price on shop belts? Just soared up. Damn. Yeah,
Damn tariffs.
tariffs. It's those tariffs, but that's okay. Trump has a plan.
They need to send us some of that Doge money.
I mean, the worst that can happen is this: shop belt prices are going to get so high that we go where? Pakistan. But wait, haven't we been doing that already for the last 5-6 years?
Right?
And when you think about it like this, for what the shop belts are costing right now, you can go to Pinfall title belts and get one for the same price as a shop one on Real Leather now HD. By the way, sponsored by.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, guys, I bid you a goodbye. It's Sunday. Let's get ready to sleep in tomorrow. Oh, wait, I'm on vacation. Everybody else has to go to work.
I gotta go. I gotta go to work.
School's out, so don't have to take the kids to school. Our school's closed, so I don't have kids to take care of tomorrow. So vacay time. I will be pumping out work. So if you message me during the week, don't expect an answer. I am hard at work.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here. Yeah, Jim. Guys, have a good night. We are out of here.
And with that, you know, like I said, I'll be sending this to my wife. So hey, babe, have a good night. And I'm unapologetically aware that I'll even make a fool of myself here and tell you have a good night and I love you and I hope you sleep well. That's what I do.
All right, brother. We will see you on the next one. And see you guys next Saturday night, 8 p.m. Don't miss it, guys. Shout out to also Double Dropkick, DDK, with Kevin Davenport, and Ethan Thompson. Shout out to the guys over at Spanning the Globe, Mark Maggard, Ben, Andy, and Richard Ward, the Warden. Guys, wish you all good. Also, check out Bells and Belts with Joey, Cedric, and Man Up. Good guys. Last few days, I've been checking out the shows. I tune in from time to time. Try to give everybody some view time. And those guys have been doing pretty damn good. Got some good stuff. Very, very good guys. Very interactive with the comments. Fun dudes. Check them out, guys. I will see you on the next one. Take care. God bless. Goodbye, guys. Sweet dreams to all. And to all a good night.